Testing, testing.
Okay, you all right? You need anything? You know, drink, some coffee, some water,
Got a drink.
a line of cocaine.
No, I'm fine.
No, Dad took the
Just-
cocaine.
Just had that.
We always have one before we record. I don't know if you know that.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, it keeps. You might not believe it with how we sound, but it brings the energy up.
Have you started?
Yeah, we've started. We have started.
And
We-
it is me trying to be cool about drugs. No, don't do them.
Stay in school, kids. Don't do drugs. Did you ever have Dare, or the DARE thing? And it's more of an American thing. I don't really know what the British
I can
version
remember
is.
seeing the bumper stickers, the car stickers, but the thing that sticks out to me more was, have you heard of the program Grange Hill?
Grange Hill, no.
So it was a after-school program about a school. So it was probably one of the first trendy, comprehensive programs about a normal school.
Yeah.
the
Educating Yorkshire.
No, it wasn't it wasn't a documentary. It was like a
TV,
drama series, yeah, a bit like Waterloo Road, but back then. And they covered drugs in the program. That one of the guys, Zamo, I think it might have been, was on drugs.
Sounds like a guy who was on drugs.
And they released a song. The song was called "Just Say No," and it was that big that they. And I might not have my facts completely right, but they ended up going to America and meeting the First Lady, who I think was Ronald Reagan's wife, to promote the campaign over in America. So that was a massive thing for this.
So they came a part of the DARE program,
Kind of.
which is a drug abuse
Nancy Reagan, I
resistance
think.
education.
So look up the song. Just say no.
Anyway, welcome back to Pain and Simple. I'm Sunny, and as always, across from... Wait a minute. That's not Ruby over there. Who is this?
She's aged. I do look like an aging larger Ruby.
Well, I wonder why that is. If there's some genetical reason for that, maybe. I
Genetical's not a
don't
word.
know. It is now. But yeah, Ruby's not here. She's left us. She's gone. She's ran away. She said, "Screw you, Sonny. I'm fed up of this podcast."
Yeah.
Spat in my face and ran out the door.
Again.
But luckily, she's left us a little message.
Oh, nice.
So I thought we'll let the people hear what she's up to wherever she is.
Oh, hey, Sonny, Karen, and all them painy babies out there.
Okay, yeah, enough of that. We don't need to hear the rest. That's plenty of that.
No, I need to hear it.
I'll play it at the end for everybody. That's enough of that.
What was she doing? Rattling her teeth in a jar or something?
Yes, that's what she's done. She's taken up.
to Turkey.
She's gone to Turkey.
To have her teeth done.
She's got all her teeth rattling around. I guess we jump straight in. Do you want to do the themes? Do how Ruby usually sings the themes?
Oh, wow. Go on, tell me the first one.
All you have to really do is like weekly recap kind of thing. You saw the emphasis and the enthusiasm I just brought to it, so you've got to beat that.
Definitely not very musical. Weekly recap.
Wow, Adele was in the room there and then. You didn't see that, but she stormed in, grabbed the mic, sang, threw it back at Karen and left. Wow.
Yeah, stealing my thunder.
That's what you want to call it. Do you want to start off with what you've been up to? I know you've been up to more than me.
What have I been up to this week? I've been quite creative this week.
Oh, wow.
So me and my good friend Jason, who is normally a hairdresser, but he's a very handy guy.
This sounds odd. I don't know where this is going to.
No, we built an outdoor kitchen, which looks fantastic.
It does. It does look really cool.
I'm very pleased with it. 2 days, not even
it took
two
you
full
2 days?
2 days. Just got a little tiny bit to finish off. But yeah, that's I'm
So
extremely proud of us.
you've done, I'd say, a decent amount of DIY in your time. Definitely more than Andrew, our dad. But how did you find this experience of like building a bar, a counter? Because it looks pretty good. It looks like...
Well, we work really well together, me and Jason, I'll be honest. No arguments, no disagreements.
Yeah, you couldn't do this with Dad.
No, definitely
That wouldn't
not.
work.
Definitely not. But so I planned it, I drew it, I measured it, I ordered all the products that we needed for it.
And did you know how to do it all already, or did you have to like Google and watch things to find out?
No, then we talked it out between us. We didn't know whether to go with the brick route or the timber route. So we went down the timber route, and Jason was excellent, but he had all the equipment. So, I was basically just then the assistant.
Fair enough. So you planned it all,
Yeah.
and then you got him to sort of help.
Then I held the
building
bits while he
process.
sawed them.
Fair enough. You let him do the dangerous stuff that involves sharp tools, and you get to plan it all out.
Teamwork.
That is teamwork. But no, it's really good. So you've got like a pizza oven on there. Not a
Yeah.
huge one of those like, I'm going to call it portable, even though it's not that portable.
Yeah.
One of those like mini pizza ovens. You've got 2 sort of containers, a mini fridge there. It was great. It looks really
Barbecue
good.
on
A
there.
barbecue? There's a barbecue in there?
Yeah.
I didn't even see that part.
See?
Is it hidden underneath? It was hidden underneath the whole time.
No, it's got a bit of a dome on there, you can see.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so that was one of my major jobs this week.
Yeah.
What
2
else?
days. I'm pretty impressed.
And I've also been reading a really good book, which I'm kind of torn with because I don't like the protagonist in it.
Protagonist.
Sorry.
I don't want to be that person.
Yeah, that's fine.
I hate it when people do it to me, but
Yeah, so it's called Yellowface, and it's by a lady called Rebecca F. Quang. And
It's a great
it's
name.
definitely a good read. But I've still got mixed. I'm halfway through. I've still got mixed feelings about this protagonist.
there we go. I nearly bought you a book recently.
Yeah.
It's called Night Bitch.
All right.
Have you ever heard of this book?
Is that what you say to me when you go to bed?
No, but it's a novel. It's written by a woman called Rachel Yonder, and it's like a magical realism book about a stay-at-home mum who slowly is transforming into a dog.
Right.
But apparently it's a pretty good book, and it's obviously got all those sort of feminist-esque themes and sort of that like female rage kind of thing. Yeah, I just thought that'd be something you might be into. So I nearly got you Night Bitch.
Right. Well, I could give it a try.
But that's what I mean. I was like, it might be out of your realm, but it's still kind of in that thing you're
No.
interested in.
The last book I read, which was, it was called something about chemistry. I can't remember the full title now. And that had a dog in it that could communicate. So I'm not quite out the fantasy realm.
Fair enough. I've not really done anything. The biggest thing for me is I'm in Chesterfield.
Welcome back.
I'm in my hometown here to record with you. And that's pretty much one of the main reasons I'm here. So yeah, I'm in Chesterfield. Saw some people last night, but I've not done much. I'm sorry to.
Denied me a trip to London.
Do you wanted to come to London? I didn't realize that.
No.
You could have come down. You'd have saved me the trip.
No, I'm too busy this week. Don't worry.
Building barbecues and seeing Barbie and reading books.
All babies, Barbies.
Yeah. BB Barbie B Boo B. Okay, so now we do. Do you know how we do this? So like I'll say what's in,
Okay.
and you go what's out, and we like yeah, we all do big high fives and shit after.
Okay.
So you ready? Don't mess this up. Seriously, don't mess this up.
I'll try.
It'll be really embarrassing if you
The
do.
pressure.
Okay, folks. Well, I guess if that's that, it's time for what's in.
What's out?
Yes, Karen, you did it. You're better than Ruby already.
Nailed it.
I think people are going to prefer you. Definitely. Okay, what's in? I'm throwing it straight to you again. What's in?
What's in?
Yeah, what's in?
Oh no.
Do you want me to tell you? 'Cause
No,
it's
I know
written
what's
down.
in. I know what's in. Well, unfortunately, it's got to be raincoats and wet footwear, wet clothing. Do you know it's been the 6th wettest July on record?
Damn.
Yep. So that's in. Wet, good clothing. No such thing as bad weather, just bad clothing.
Fair enough.
Sick of the rain though. So what is out?
What's out for me is, again, I always struggle with this segment as we spoke about. I never really know what to say. But what's out for me is what's been out for most people for the past few years, and it should still be out. And some people are saying he's technically back in, but Kevin Spacey is still out. Because I don't know if you heard, he
Yeah, it got let off.
he
did it?
got let off.
Mm.
I read a few bits of it, and he just seems like a bit of an odd guy. Like, I don't know. It's a shame because he
not
was a
just
really
had-
good actor.
He's not just had one accusation. Though,
No,
has
he's
he?
had a few
Mm.
from young boys. That's the thing. So it was like at first they found out he was gay and he was secretly gay this whole time. People were like, oh my God, you were secretly gay? And then they're like, wait, you were
No
secretly
shame
gay
there.
you're a secret gay paedophile.
Yeah, the bit of shame there.
But he got away with it, but he's still out.
He's not actually currently filming anything, is he?
He has a film due to release, but I think it may have been filmed a long time ago and just been like, we're not going to release this.
Yeah, because it was in that House of Cards, and they stopped filming it because of the scandal.
Yeah, the final... I didn't watch House of Cards, but the final season was like they took one of the side characters and was like, okay, you're the main character now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, let's go with you.
We're all the main character in our own lives.
Very true. Very true. I'm trying to find out what this film is that he's got coming up. Okay, upcoming, apparently he's got 3 films.
Oh, well, they could go straight to Netflix, straight to cable. What's it called? Straight to streaming.
VOD, video on demand. Yeah, apparently he's still got some stuff coming out, but I don't know. I know during the whole everything coming out about him, a film came out with him and it made £10. It made nothing, which is a good thing. But at the same time, a lot of people probably worked on that. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation. But he's out for me.
Yeah, out, definitely.
He's still out, even if he has gotten away with it, as they say. I've not followed it too deeply, and we don't really want to report on things like this too much, but that's that.
Yeah, we'll keep him out.
Let's keep him out. Well, we're flying through, I feel, aren't we?
Are we?
We're flying through. I don't know. Me and Ruby usually go on some big old tangents. Because we're already at What You Watching? Go on, you give it a shot.
What are you watching?
Yeah, I'll take that, I guess. Sound like a bit Tilda Swinton or whatever then, but...
I'll take that.
So, do you want to jump in with what you've been watching?
Well, I'll start with the non-Barbie option.
Yeah, that's good, because then we both talk Barbie
Okay.
after that.
So we're watching a brand new series on Paramount, I believe.
Who'd have ever thought Paramount would be watching something on Paramount?
Yeah.
Is this by any chance the iCarly reboot?
No, I did see that.
I know
though.
that's on Paramount.
Is it iCarly 2.0 or something?
I think it's still called
Oh,
iCarly.
right.
iCarly, but now
No,
I'm 30.
It's not. It's Zoe 102, I think.
That's the new one, yes, yes, from Zoe 101.
Yeah. Not that I've watched it, just popped up somewhere.
Yeah, whatever. You were a huge Nickelodeon fan as a kid.
So the my recommendation is it Lioness Special Ops?
Yeah? Special Ops Lioness, whatever?
Yeah, whichever way around it is. Zoe Saldana. It is brilliant. So good, so watchable.
So what's it about? Obviously Special Ops and blah blah blah, but what
I think they're a branch of the CIA, like a special unit made up of some females, some males.
all badass? Some females, some
Extremely.
males,
Extremely. There's
all
only,
badass.
I think we've only seen 2, maybe 2 or 3. She kind of comes across as a bit of an uncaring mother.
This is Zoe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's obviously well into her career. And she runs a team of sorter-outers.
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 Kind of like the
Fixers.
wolf from Pulp Fiction, where it's like I call them up and clean my mess kind
yeah,
of thing.
fixers. So they have to infiltrate certain, obviously political and kind of like where there's conflict. But yeah, it's definitely a good watch. Gripping.
Interesting.
Quite violent. Don't really like violence, but yeah, it's done in a great way.
But like, is it violent to like my extent or your extent? Where like violent for you isn't as far as me
no,
necessarily.
it's watchable. It's not anything that I'd have to watch between my fingers. No, I don't like violence. I think it's unnecessary. But she's a real badass, the girl that they're training up in this.
That's good. Well, I'm looking here. Apparently, Nicole Kidman shows up.
Nicole Kidman's in it.
Morgan
She's the
Freeman
boss.
shows up.
I've not seen him yet.
Oh, did I spoil that for
No,
you?
I did see him. He's on the
Yeah,
adverts.
you're going to push him, wouldn't you? You'd be like, he's in this.
Just to hear him.
Is it not finished yet? Is it still coming out?
Yeah, release weekly.
Oh, okay. So how many episodes in are we? Do you
I
know?
think we're 3 in.
Sounds good. Sounds interesting. Well, that's a bit of fun. You sort of spy espionage stuff. I always said, do you know how people say, oh, why don't you make James Bond a woman? And I always sort of said, why don't you just make a new woman character like a James Bond?
Yeah, with that.
And I understand the argument of, well, people go to see James Bond movies because of the name. It's already got like that audience attached. if you throw out a new character, it's different and like it's more of a risk. But James Bond was an original idea at one point.
Yeah, true.
So this kind of looks like it's maybe not as James Bondy,
it's not as
clean
cheesy.
cut,
Yeah.
but it's a bit more dark and dirtier.
It is more dark and dirty, and more kind of realism, emotional realism.
Yeah, not silly gadgets and one-liners.
Yeah. Although Daniel Craig did bring a lot more emotion to the role.
Yeah, I mean, I could talk about his James Bond films for a while, like how they started really serious and grounded and slowly became silly and goofy as it went on.
No, it's good. It's good.
Well, that is good.
What have you been watching?
I just want to quick. Do you know Zoe Saldana?
Yeah.
Is in 3 of the 5 highest grossing films of all time.
Avatar is one.
Avatar.
Is she in? She's not in the. No, can't think what it's called.
Avengers.
Is she in the Avengers?
She's in the Avengers, and then Avatar 2, which is the 3 highest grossing films of all time. Avatar, Avengers Endgame, Avatar 2.
She got bank, as they say.
And then she just misses number 6 with another Avengers film. But she's the highest 3 grossing films of all time. She's in it.
Avengers, because I'm not down with the Avengers.
She have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy?
No.
Well, she's one of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
She's a green lady.
So is she also in Guardians of the Galaxy?
She's also in Guardians of the Galaxy. So she's doing all right, it seems. She's doing all right. Well, let's jump ahead, I guess, because I finally, folks, got to watch Barbie. Now, I think I went off a bit last week about how much I'm like, I'm not going to see it, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know. I don't care that much. But I finally got to see it. And honestly, I fucking loved it. I really enjoyed it. It was well worth the wait. And
how they've created that world it's just amazing.
Greta Gerwig, she's been speaking about, like The Wizard of Oz and these sort of like early musical, like filmed musicals, and how they had these painted sets and the colors and the technical sort of side to it, and how it's like they had like 4 or 5 backdrops, but the detail in them was so good you sort of like accepted it. And it's like it falls under this certain aesthetic she's going for.
No, it definitely works.
Yeah, she actually released a list of like 30 films to like watch for inspiration.
Really?
And I think like The Truman Show was in there, Wizard of Oz was in there, The Godfather was in there.
Really?
But yeah, so it was really good, really interesting, and it's making absolute bank. I think I said last week, the budget's like 100 million to like 150 million, somewhere in between that ballpark. It's currently at 366 million in the US and Canada.
I don't know anyone who's seen it that didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, no, I don't know anyone personally. There's
Male
obviously
and female.
bigots online who hate everything, but I don't know anyone in real life.
No, I agree. And there's nothing not to love. You've got to go in with an open mind and appreciate the comedy, the reverse of patriarchy. It
is good. It's very good.
Yeah.
Do you remember that a Flash movie came out recently? The Flash. Here's Michael Keaton as Batman again, and blah blah blah.
Right.
That was another Warner Brothers thing, and that was like failed miserably. This was earlier in the year. Failed absolutely miserably. Lost like $200 million.
Right.
And Warner Brothers. I don't know if Warner Brothers have said this, but they pretty much said Barbie is going to like make up for that loss.
Yeah, soak it up.
They didn't realize how well this is going to do, and it's like this is actually going to like even things out for that massive failure we had. So it's doing really well. And
because it's a 12A, it's not even appealing to the market of the Barbie doll user. It's appealing to a lot more adults.
Well, I've been seeing things on the internet being like, you're a middle-aged mom taking your daughter to go see Barbie, and then you accidentally realize the movie's about you. Kind of thing. It's like the movie's not for your daughter, it's for you.
Yeah. I've seen a few things. The one that touched me most was on TikTok, where a young girl said she was leaving the theatre and an older lady, probably in her 60s, with her friend, was also leaving. And as she held the door open for her, the older lady said to the young girl, "Hi, Barbie."
Classic.
And it just, if you've seen it, it just means so much. I know. It's so silly.
Well, like I said, the word Barbie I've heard way too much recently.
Yeah.
I went into that a bit, but I don't know. I really did enjoy the film. I thought it was very fun. Not to go on about Ryan Gosling, but what
genius.
A powerhouse of comedy.
Genius.
Like, I think he's such an underappreciated comedic actor. Crazy Stupid Love, The Nice Guys, this. when he goes into comedy, he's hilarious. And like, it kind of annoys me because it's like, you're that good looking, you're this talented, and you're funny.
And
Screw you, man. You can't have it all.
But you actually do look at his character like he believes what he's saying.
Well, you can see behind his eyes that like he feels underappreciated.
Yeah.
And like wants to feel appreciated.
And when he gets that chance
and when
to like be on the other side of things,
he sees that what the patriarchy is and what horses can do, and
his love of horses.
But you also see when he starts like, and I guess a little bit of spoilers for Barbie, when he tries to take over Barbie Land, you see he doesn't really want to. He's like, I just need to get Barbie's attention. But as much of a feminist movie this is, I do think there's a lot for men in it. Like that, his storyline and stuff, I think there's a lot for men. And the Alan storyline, the very small sort of like, I'm not really into this kind of thing. Like, I don't want to be part of your patriarchy kind of. I'm happy to just chill it. I want to get out of here. Yeah, exactly. I want to get out of here. So I think there's a lot for men in this, and like a lot for them to see and realize. And hopefully, it's going to be a little bit eye opening for some people.
I know,
like men specifically.
I know it's probably been said before, but the monologue that America Ferrera does,
people
about
are loving it.
What it's like to be a woman. Most men will not even, none of that will even relate to a man.
That's what I mean. It's like one of those things I can get and understand, but purely from a subjective point of view. I'll never fully understand what that feeling is. But it's very interesting. Apparently they did that monologue a few times in a bunch of different ways. Like, really angry, maybe really depressed, and like really tried to find where the balance is. And I think they hit it quite well with this sort of like...
No, she was good, because you're just questioning...
Yeah, it was like, why is it? It's like confusion. Yeah. There's a little bit of anger.
And for all mums of young tweens and girls growing up, it should be something that they let them see.
Yeah, for sure. Again, I was saying about the two-dimensional world, and like it does it perfectly for me, because they're all two-dimensional characters still, but they're learning that they're not, in a sense. Where Ken's like, I beach.
Yeah.
Like that's literally what I mean. It's like I beach. Like there's not more to it. There's no depth to that. It's so surface level.
Spend time at the beach.
Yeah, but he's like, I'm not a lifeguard. I can't swim.
Yeah.
I beach.
Not very well as well.
Not very well either. However, my one sort of criticism is the Will Ferrell Mattel characters.
Yeah.
I think either give me more or give me less.
Yeah, no, I can agree with you there.
They were kind of like a background threat.
There's kind of two of them, and then nothing from anyone else.
Yeah, but it was like they were kind of like a background threat where they're slowly going to Barbie Land, and then they wanted like, we got to stop this, but they're not really the main. So I was like, either give me more, give them a bit more to do, or take them away.
Yeah.
I liked the Mattel thing. It's run by men. I think you need that. And the irony where she's like, can I speak to the boss, like the woman who does this? And it's like, no, that's us. It's like, we're the ones. Yeah, and even I just really also liked the way they made the world make sense without over explaining it. And I think at one point they even throw a line away being like, hey, don't really think about this, like how this world works. But I like that they do little things like Ken's Mojo Dojo Casa House becomes like a fast-selling toy in the real world. And I'm like, okay, I can see how these are connected just through these little hints you're giving me. You're not over-explaining, making me bored by being like, well, the Barbie world works like this, and it's not really, but then it's really like... You don't need that. I think I understood.
It makes people... It just makes them realise how the world is rather than dictates to them how the world should be.
But yeah, I did really enjoy it. I think it was fun. I think it's very funny.
Talking about the Mattel... obviously the Mattel factory and the Mattel production line. So my next Mattel film that's coming out... that I've created is... Hot Wheels versus Thomas and Friends.
Okay. So this is like a monster truck kind of like thing.
So it's like Fast and Furious versus Railway Children.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me because I'm actually really happy you led this, because have you heard about what they're planning?
No.
With the success of Barbie, they're like, what properties can we do? What can we grind up into the dirt?
No.
So Mattel are currently working on a Barney movie. That's right, the big purple dinosaur.
Yeah, I don't think the adults world would go with that one.
Attached to the production is Daniel Kaluuya.
Right.
His company, and the film is apparently going to be leaning into that millennial angst to explore the trials and tributes of a 30-something growing up with Barney.
Oh, with all them songs repeated in your head.
So...
The indoctrination of Barney.
But here's the end. He goes... He also went so far to compare the film's surrealist approach to Adaptation and Being John Malkovich, which are two like highbrow indie films about like life and what it means to be humans and like
Yeah.
depression and stuff. So yeah, a sad millennial Barney film. That's what's next.
I like my head. How about you?
We've got
Lets
more
me know
though.
I'm alive.
You were on about Hot Wheels?
Yes.
They're doing it. They're already one step ahead of you. And it's announced that Mattel and Warner Brothers have joined forces for a live-action Hot Wheels film. Produced by J.J. Abrams, it was announced the film will be an emotional and grounded and gritty film.
Ooh.
So, yeah, we don't really know what that's going to be. And then they're also doing...
But surely it can't be as emotionally gritty as like Cars. You're not going to find the characters like you do in Cars.
Yeah, exactly.
So is it just like a rip-off of Cars?
Doesn't this all sound dumb? This like gritty Hot Wheels movie and then this like millennial angst Barney film, which I think could actually be interesting. But like, it all sounds weird. They want to do a Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie. Do you know Rock'em Sock'em
I do,
Robots?
yeah.
The thing that came out in like the 60s and it's just a red guy and a blue guy slowly hitting each
punching
other. That also, do you remember the movie Real Steel? That it's just the Rock'em Sock'em Robots already?
No, I don't remember.
It was Hugh Jackman like controls a robot boxing. Like, you know, it's like robots are boxing
it's
and
been
people.
done.
So it's been done.
Been done.
But Vin
Move on.
Diesel's production company is attached to the Rock'em Sock'em Robots, and it's
So
set to be starring a
what
father and
toy-
son dynamic.
What toy from your childhood? I mean, you were a massive Thomas fan, and that is Mattel as well. So,
Yeah.
what toy from your childhood would you want them to make a film about?
That's tough because as sad as it is, most toys
They've done the Lego
they've
movies.
well, that's what I mean. Lego movie's done. Transformers has been done already because that was like, and that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of the time they go, "Oh, we need to sell these toys. Let's make a cartoon to sell the toys." So like a lot of it has been done. I mean, I thought the Lego movie was great, and I think the Lego movie and this Barbie movie have a lot in common, and that's kind of like what I'm quite enjoying about it. So I don't know. It's tough. What childhood toy?
It's a very expensive advert.
Stretch Armstrong. That's it. That's my answer. Stretch Armstrong, the big stretchy man that you could stretch
Yeah.
until his arm eventually ripped off.
Yeah,
Make that a movie.
the real life version.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
30
not
and he's
rubber.
depressed,
Yeah.
and he's like so stretched out because people have been stretching him his entire life, and he's real sad. That's it. That's my
true.
movie pitch. Anyway, I just want to finish it off with
Go
the,
on.
the wildest, weirdest one. Uno. You want an Uno movie?
I can't even play the game. I don't even know where.
Well, it's a card game.
Yeah.
So apparently the Uno movie is strongly inspired by the hip-hop scene in Atlanta. The Uno movie is developed as an action heist comedy with American rapper Lil Yachty attached to develop.
Never heard of him.
Oh, well, he's just like another rapper, whatever.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like an Uno heist movie set in the rap scene of Atlanta. I don't know if that's the
Sounds
best.
right up your street.
I don't know if that's the best or worst idea I've ever seen. Where are they getting these? And I understand Barbie is not a kids' film, and I kind of see where they're going with this. Let's not make kids' film. Let's maybe try and make something a bit more, I don't know, something.
I think the new game that came, Nana was obsessed with while she was on holiday. That's a Mattel game, I'm sure. Skip-Bo, it's called.
Skip-Bo.
It's got a great name, not relevant to the game at all. Skip-Bo. Have you ever never heard of it?
Never heard of it.
Ask your Nana about it. She was obsessed with it.
Flat Fury.
Flat Furies. You don't do it. You go do it.
Flat Furies.
All right. What was this Doris Day shit coming out? Jeez.
Hang on, we'll just get your dad to make us a quick jingle.
Yeah, go on, Dad. Just whip one up over there.
Flat Furies.
So
Okay.
for Flat Furies this week, we've switched it up. We switched it up a bit because we don't live together
We don't live together anymore.
anymore, but we used to. Exactly.
We used to.
So I want to know something you hated about me as a kid,
Oh dear, this is like therapy.
but a lot cheaper.
I mean, you were always quite tidy in the house, so you weren't like a maniac. The one thing when you were kind of small, and
Sorry,
you-
was Ruby more messy than me?
is.
Well, that's what I mean. It's not changed, but I didn't know if she was like a messy kid.
But whenever we went anywhere, even if it was, we used to have a newsagents next door to us, and even if we just called round to the newsagents or something, you had to take your belongings with you. So it would be a drinks cup and 3 dummies and 3 Thomas trains. Not a bag, not anything to carry them in, just your arms. Everywhere we went, you had a number of things that you were attached to. You kind of got attached to random objects. Hence the time I drew a face on a carrot.
I remember this. Well, I don't remember this. I remember being told this.
I drew a face on a carrot, and you played with it for about 2 weeks, and you took it to nursery with you every day. And by the end of about the second week, when it was all shriveled up and looked like an aged carrot face, they had an Ofsted visit and wanted to know why there was a random decaying carrot on the windowsill.
Yeah, that's my toy over there. That's mine. That comes home with me. Maybe I have attachment issues. I think I do.
Maybe so.
Because I can get attached to like random things quite easily,
Yeah,
but
you
not
did.
people. Anything but people. Really. And I'm like, I'm never going to get rid of this pen. I'm keeping this pen for life.
No, that's it.
But
you'd have a thing about things.
But that's not changed. Now, the only difference is I have a backpack now.
yeah.
But like, I
To keep your
honestly,
carrots in.
I leave the house with a backpack, and in that backpack, you'd think I'm planning to like get lost every day. I have most random stuff in
Yeah,
my bag.
like Mary Poppins.
Plasters, pills. Just, I don't know, you never know. I just always carry around water. But sometimes people take the piss out of it, but then they always say, oh, Sonny, can I put this in your bag?
Save the day.
Can you carry this? Can you take that? Oh, we're
Have you
going to the
got-
store to buy something. I don't need a plastic bag. Got my backpack. So I think it works out in the end.
No, it's a good training from being a toddler.
Yeah, that's it.
But I must say, as you got older, the dreaded parties were a thing.
The party is.
The dreaded parties. I think me and Dad only went out for dinner one night, and we came back and the neighbour had got you pinned up in the driveway.
I was actually on about this yesterday.
The neighbour, who at the time was a Buddhist, suddenly pinned up in the driveway because some random girl had chucked her empty bottle of vodka over the fence straight through his greenhouse.
No, you're mixing up like 3 different parties here.
Oh, well.
Yeah, that was like 3 separate things.
Oh.
We don't ever know who threw that bottle at his greenhouse. We never figured out who it was, but I had to clean it up.
Yeah, rightly so.
But no, he came round once and I was pretty drunk, 15, 16 or whatever, being a cocky idiot, and he comes in threatening to like deck me and fucking put me to the ground. And
You'd pushed him to his
it was just
Buddhist
noise.
limit.
Yeah, but literally, but I was just like, you're not gonna drop me. I'm fucking 16. Like I'm pretty confident that's assault. Like you'll be the bad guy if you do that.
Luckily, we returned just before the assault happened.
And that was the last time I've like been officially grounded. Like you were never necessarily
Really?
like you're grounded and like you'd punish me, but you weren't like you're grounded. But then that was like you are grounded. I think that's probably the last time. And now I'm too old for it, right?
We didn't
Right.
ground yourself now. So we never had any reaction to the time when we happened to look on CCTV while we're in London and the police were at the door.
I don't know. I think I've gotten away with a lot, but I used to throw a lot of parties and I miss them because the flat that we
Yeah,
live in now isn't
that's-
big enough.
That's probably why you live there. It's better that you live there.
And I'm a bit conscious about all the neighbours. You know, it's no longer 2 neighbours. There's so
Yeah.
many neighbours around me.
And also, your neighbours already complained that you were singing in the shower.
Yeah, they have actually. I was really feeling myself one
I don't
morning,
think
having
it
a
was
great
I don't
time.
think it was the actual volume.
I think it
was
was.
probably the tone.
I think both. I think the volume made you hear the tone. Yeah, I once had a really good morning. I was getting dressed, shower, shaving, all
Yeah.
that stuff, singing my heart out, having a great time. And then my little buzzer goes off ringing. It's the reception in the building. Yeah, sorry, you're playing music really loud. I'm like, I won't say really loud. It's like, well, the neighbours have just like complained and rang us down. And I was like, Jesus,
Yeah,
snitches.
and that's all soundproof.
Absolute snitches. Well, no,
What did you hate growing up?
I came to you being like, hey, I'm going to ask you a couple of things, think about them, and I've not thought about my answers.
Oh, but you must.
Because
I
I
mean,
suck.
No, but all kids hate the parents for some thing.
But now I'm older, I can't really remember. Like, I could tell you dumb stuff, and I think the only reason I remember this is because you remember it. What did I ask for? It was like a Bakugan or some sort of shit.
Gormity.
Gormity. One thing. I remember asking for it, and you're like, yeah, we'll get it, yeah.
I think we were on the
you,
Isle of Wight, weren't we?
you told me you would get it me, and then we never got it.
Yeah.
And
For
I never
15
forgot
years,
that.
15
Yeah.
years you've reminded me.
So I remember that because that's sort of become a little joke with you. But I don't really have anything too bad, luckily. I mean, I also felt quite lucky because when I got to the ages of, I'd say like 14 or 15, you started leaving me alone.
That's social services.
No, but seriously, was it like 15 when you sort of would leave me alone for an
Oh,
evening?
When Ruby, because Ruby would have been older.
Yeah, but no, I mean, like, post Ruby. Ruby wasn't here either.
Possibly. In the house, maybe.
Because
Not
by the time I
overnight,
was
but
15, Ruby would have been 19.
Yeah.
She'd have been off. You'd leave me alone quite a lot. And then eventually, as I got a bit older, you'd go away for like a week and leave me alone. And I don't know. That's, I think, genuinely a positive. Because it's made me become more independent, maybe too independent.
You are very independent.
But I
And
think...
like your own company far too much.
Yeah, it's an issue. But I remember once after doing that, maybe you'd go on a holiday, you'd go away, and you'd leave me for some times and some evenings. You came into my room once and like sat next to me, had a little serious face on, and you asked me if like, are you okay that we leave you? Like, does it bother you that we leave you alone?
I think because I was working so many hours as well at that time. So it's like mum guilt.
Yeah, I guess.
We're
But
very serious, aren't we?
but no, but I didn't think it was an issue at all, and I never even questioned it like that. I was like, yeah, no, this is fine. Like, what do you mean? This is a bad thing? But you have to probably see it from my point of view. I was like a teenager
Yeah.
who, no
having a
offense,
blast.
didn't want to spend time with my parents. And you're telling me I get to be home alone for a week? Fuck yeah. That sounds like the dream. No wonder I had parties all the time. It's your own
That's true.
fault.
Yeah. We didn't police that very well.
So, yeah, I mean, I wish I had more about my childhood. I mean, do you think you messed up in any way with me?
I think all parents think that they have. It's.
But do you remember like a specific moment where you think, oh, have I just fucked this kid up?
No, not in that way. I just wish you'd reply to messages more.
Yeah, well, that's what you hate about me today,
Yeah.
is that I don't get back to you. I don't reply to you. I'm pretty bad at that.
But no, I don't think you've done it. I think, no, I'm dead proud of how you've turned out.
Well, that's good. But, I mean, I don't know. Parenting in general, it must be tough. Did you think you did better with me than Ruby? Because that's obviously the classic thing, is like what you think you did wrong with your first kid, you can fix with your second kid, but that then will cause other things you get wrong.
No, I think you're both very different. And my style of parenting is actually, I'm going to swear now, fuck up and you sort it out yourself. I'm just there to catch you when you fall.
She did it. She said a bad word. You actually said, you were like, I'm worried because I don't swear as much as you. You didn't know if you'd be cool. Well, here he is, the attention whore. He's coming up. Andrew's putting his face on the window.
Look at me.
Well, we can give you 30 seconds to say something. What do you want? What do you want to say?
Love you.
I'm going to do a shout out while we're on this little phase. Laura Ellis, love you, miss you.
Very specific, very random,
It
but
is.
not many people have got a shout out on this podcast.
Laura
but there
Ellis
you go.
in Australia. I promised her I would do her a big shout out. Love you, Laura.
There you go, Laura. I hope you're having a good time.
Do not cut that.
Oh yeah, I just cut it out. No, what should we say? What should Laura do in Australia?
Oh, I think she's doing absolutely fine.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna say like do a bad time. Like I don't really know what you meant. I was gonna be more like, get some 4X and do a shoey or something while you're over there.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we're pretty much now on to the just talking about you. The weekly wonder this week is basically just like, hey, what's Karen doing? Who's a Karen?
Ooh,
Who is
on
a
the
Karen?
spot.
That is actually something you hate. Is the Karen thing that's come up recently? The new trend of like Karens being a moany fuck, pretty much.
Yeah, it's a bit of a negative. It's not the ideal name to have at this moment in time.
Yeah, so the whole Karen being moany whatevers, you really hate that. Have you learned to deal with it yet? Because it's been a few years.
The only no, I just ignore it because I don't feel that I am a Karen.
Yeah,
as
whatever,
they say.
whatever.
The only thing that does bother me is if you do happen to have to ring someone, if it's an energy company or if it's someone that's you're not making a complaint about, but you question it and then they ask you your name. That's the horrible bit.
You instantly think, they're gonna put me in this box.
Yeah.
Like I've messed up here. Have you ever gave a fake name?
No,
You've always been like
I've
ballsy
always
enough.
owned up to it.
Have you ever brought up the thing? Oh, it's Karen, but not one of those. But
No.
not one of those.
No, because they don't know me, so
Also-
they can make an assumption as they like.
I think that the more you try to prove that you're not one, it will make you seem like one.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. So I just live my Karen life, trying not to be an annoying Karen.
But I hate to break it to you. You're a very annoying Karen. Very annoying.
Can I speak to your manager, please?
We're going to jump around your life a bit, but let's go to the early years. Because you were would have been 5 or 6 by the time the 70s rolled around?
Yeah, yeah.
So do you remember anything about the 60s?
I think you remember music because it's kind of
Timeless
it
in a
follows
sense,
you,
yeah.
doesn't it? Yeah.
Do you remember any Mattel products? Rock'em Sock'em Robots? That came out in the 60s?
Were they in the 60s?
I think that was 62, 64.
Oh, I remember them, but I don't.
Yeah, that wasn't really your kind of thing, especially 6-year-old you.
No, I'd
Did you have a
probably-
Barbie as a kid?
I wasn't allowed Barbie. I had to have a Cindy.
What's Cindy?
Cindy is the
middle
Barbie's
class,
poor
like
friend.
the working class version, yeah. Cindy, she works in the mines. She's never seen a beach.
No, never had a Barbie. I lived my Barbie days through your sister.
Ruby did have plenty of Barbies.
Definitely.
Okay, so yeah, obviously I didn't really expect you to remember much about the 60s.
I left school and started work in 1981,
There we go, yeah.
and I was 17.
Cue some 80s music.
By 18, I had left home and I was living in a flat in Chesterfield and basically having the time of my life. So that's
Doing what?
out every night. I used to go out every single night except one, and then on that night I'd come home from work and sleep. Yeah, just had a great time for probably 4 or 5 years, which you should be doing at that age.
So you were party city is what you're saying.
Not really. No, I mean, yeah, I still went to work most days.
What was the nightlife like for you in the 80s?
So we didn't do the pre-drinking or anything. We literally went out maybe 9 o'clock to the pubs and the bars.
Was that your pre-drink? Going to like a pub and a bar first?
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
pre's.
Then by about 11 o'clock, you go to your club, which closed at 2 anyway. Then if you didn't want to go home, you would have to go somewhere like Motorway Services.
So you went to the services? You
Yeah,
went to
if
the
somebody would
servos and got
drive
some
you.
more beer?
No, you didn't drink. You went and had food or a coffee or something.
That's
Or-
weird.
Or you'd go to like an all-night cafe, which if you're out in Sheffield, you could do. Not in Chesterfield.
Yeah, we need more of
Um,
those. It's only McDonald's that's 24-hour place
yeah.
anymore, really. You know, there's not that many other 24-hour like cafes or like places you can get something to eat.
If you were working, though, the next day you had to go home, get a few hours sleep.
What if you
just
were
to get
working at
to,
the service station? It's a whole new ball game. But what were the clubs like? What was the difference? I'm talking colours, drinks, music, vibes, just general everything.
It's been such a long time since I've been in a nightclub that
True. You don't know what the
wouldn't-
modern one is.
No.
It's
But
dirty, it's sticky.
obviously we had 80s music, which, sorry guys, but we
Was
did have
better.
the best music. Yeah. And there used to be different clubs would have like a soul night, so you'd go in there and there'd be like loads of R&B, you know, really, really good music. That's the kind of music I was into.
You were into really good music.
Really good R&B.
You know, I
and,
think I'm also
soul.
into really good music.
Everybody's opinion is. that
Yeah,
they're
that's
into
what I
good
mean.
music.
Everyone thinks I listen to good music and you listen to the bad music.
Yeah.
Did you ever do a shoey?
Never did a shoey.
Should we do one now on the
I
air?
used to do the dead fly. Do you know what the dead fly is?
I don't. I feel like that's like licking a shot off the bar table or something.
Yeah. Have you seen the film Animal House?
Yeah. I love Animal House.
Yeah. So when they get to sing Shout
Yeah.
and they lay on the floor with their arms and legs kicking in the air,
Okay, yeah.
that's the dead fly.
Oh, so that's like a little dance move.
So it's a little bit of a drunken dance move at the end.
You lay
when
going.
Shout comes
It's
on.
literally like when a toddler or a 6-year-old gets angry and like lays on the floor screaming and kicking. That's literally the dance move
With alcohol.
with alcohol, which maybe some 6-year-olds do and don't have.
So yeah, that was my
So
clubbing days.
you lived the Animal House days. You lived that world.
That was that Animal House was one of the first kind of what frat movie would you call
Yeah,
it?
frat movies.
Yeah, was as a mainstay in my growing up. Animal House.
So what? That like this movie actually really inspired you?
No, it didn't inspire me, but I remember watching it with a group of friends, and then like people would use like quotes from different films. That was that kind of like, oh,
Give me the
film.
quote, because I feel like there's a lot of quotes
I
there.
actually can't think of a quote from Animal House.
I've put you on the spot. That's
You
why.
have, yeah.
I honestly can't think of any
No.
now. Okay, I've got some iconic quotes.
Go on.
The first quote is toga, 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 toga. Oh, a lot of them are like full-on conversations, and I feel like I'd have to read a script here. I just want one off the lines. Grab a brew, don't cost nothing. You used to walk around like that. Hey
No.
man, grab a brew, don't cost nothing. See you at the servo later. That was how your like conversations worked.
Yeah, we were all American frat boys.
Yeah. See you at the servo. You got your toga? Yeah. What was like the pull-in scene in the day? Like when you're in the club, how would you get a guy's attention? Or
It was definitely not like, we didn't have any social media, we didn't have any text messages, didn't have any mobile phones.
so when you went out, did you know most of the people in the club or not?
No, you didn't kind of know. You knew your group of friends and gangs of people that would like stick together. So, yeah, you kind of knew. So if there was anybody that you liked, then you knew that they would be there, and you just had to graft, as they say.
Damn.
But
I don't really know what you mean by that. I don't know what you were grafting, how you were doing it, but
very much different, because now people tend to start a relationship by not even being in the same room. You're talking to somebody. And
Yeah.
then it moves on to, you might go on a date. So then you've got
no one goes on dates anymore, unfortunately.
No, what you just do, sign them and sleep with them.
Wait,
so
say
then
what did you say?
see
Sign them and sleep with them?
Find them.
Signed,
Find
sealed, and
them
delivered.
sleep with them. And then you kind of become exclusive. Then you become boyfriend and girlfriend. There's like so many steps to this process. If you saw somebody you liked them, you'd speak to them. If it worked out, it worked out. If it didn't, you never saw them again.
So you would say it was more casual and like less stakes.
I never liked anybody unless I knew them anyway. So I'd have to know the personality before I became attracted to them.
Well,
so
that's fair.
it would only be people that I knew that I kind of liked.
That's fair. How many times were you in love before you met Dad?
I think probably one.
Just once before?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Interesting. I'd have thought it'd be like at least a couple.
No, I think just one.
Okay. Are you not going to tell me about this person?
Very briefly. I liked him. He didn't like me.
Oh, what a bastard. Let's kill him.
We were
That's my mother he's talking about.
we were really good friends for about 3 years. I used to see him every day, but just as friends. In the end,
That
I just had
sucks.
to cut off all
That
ties
sucks.
because I thought too much about him.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I
That does
know.
suck.
I know.
Yeah, you got friend zoned to fuck. Really, you
From
got
the
friend
start.
zoned.
From the start, and he was a proper player with lots of girls.
So it sounds like you have a type. Really? Sounds like you have a type. Because, how did you meet Dad or hear about Dad or anything like that?
Well, I used to work at an ice cream company, and
Which we're definitely going to get to next.
He had a restaurant, or his family had a restaurant, and we used to deliver ice cream down to their restaurant. And when I met him, I thought, what a dick, what a show off.
I think that's most people's first impression. That was my first impression coming out of the womb.
Yeah, it was such a show off. So attention seeking and just not my type at all. And then the family that I worked with in the ice cream company all went away, so I was like left in charge. And he rang up to place an order for some ice cream, and we got to chatting on the phone. And when I put the phone down, I thought, why have I got butterflies in my tummy? Why do I feel excited about speaking to him?
It's because you ate gone off ice cream.
Yeah.
You were talking on the phone so long, all the ice cream melted.
So that food poisoning made me question whether he was attracted to him or not. And then it took me 3 years to convince him to go out with me.
So yeah, you really do graft. That is
Pursued,
what you
yeah.
mean. You are grafting.
Sonny, when you know, you know.
Slowly chipping away. Obviously, you was questioning, this guy's a bit of a dick. I don't really know. Like, I'm into him. He's nice. But is he like... You have a story about the moment you realised you were really into him.
Obviously, I'd kind of written off any relationship happening between me and him because he really weren't paying me any interest.
Quickly, in those 3 years, did he date other people? Or did he not have time for that?
No, I think he must have done. But
Probably
I
casually, but
wasn't
you
like,
didn't.
privy to any of that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and I was so I'd given up and I was seeing someone else.
Okay.
I was at home, living at home at the time, and watching the local news, and it showed a wall had fallen down in Chesterfield onto a car, and it was Andrew's car.
It was Andrew's car.
And kind of like that gave me like butterflies in my tummy as
You
well.
panicked.
And I thought, God, if I still feel like this about him, why am I bothering going out with somebody else?
Yeah, if I feel like this about his car getting damaged, why am I dating somebody else? I should be dating this car. And you were the first person to legally marry a car.
Yeah.
Well, that's quite sweet that you realised how much you care about him because of that.
And I told this other boy, I said that's the reason why.
You fully was straight up.
Yeah.
That I like this
Totally
other
honest.
show off.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. And is it 33 years later?
Hell yeah. So how did the first date happen? Did you ask him or did he eventually, like you say, he gave in and finally
No,
asked
I
you?
think he eventually beat him down, so he eventually asked me out. And we went for dinner in a restaurant in Bakewell.
It was bad to say if you went to dinner at his restaurant that he worked
No,
at,
it
I'd be like,
wasn't.
oh God,
No, we didn't
come
go
on,
there.
Andrew.
Partway through the dinner, I asked him if I could look at his watch. So he passed me his watch over, and I was looking at it, and I turned it back a couple of hours. And,
What? Why? To trick him? To stay out with you later?
So I could stay
You're
out
weird.
later.
That's weird. Imagine like, pass me
I've
your
got
phone.
game. What are you talking about?
Pass me your phone and like, why are you going on my settings? Nothing. Just leave me alone. Okay, clock, world time.
It was easier in those
And
days.
did it work? Did he
Yeah.
actually look at it? Wow, it's
Yeah.
only 7:30. I'm feeling great.
Yeah, he thought we were going home at midnight, and it was 2 a.m.
Damn. And you know what? He's always been 2 hours behind ever since.
Yeah.
He's never caught up, honestly. I didn't know that. That's so weird to do. Such a weird, like, I'm going to trick this guy to stay
Yeah.
longer.
They were probably thinking, "Oh my God, this is dragging."
Yeah, it's honestly, yeah, look at it at 8. We were meant to meet at 8. We've been here for hours. I mean, it's like when you trick a kid on New Year's Eve. You're
Yeah.
like, hey, look, it's midnight,
Yeah.
guys. Let's all celebrate. You go to bed. It's 8 o'clock. You would like treat him like a kid. And honestly, that's
And
probably
still have.
a way to define your relationship. You spoke about the ice cream company.
Yeah.
I want you right now to expose the ice cream industry. What do we need to know? What do we want to remember? Just do they let the ice cream melt and then they go, let's just refreeze it. Let's sell it out to them.
No, the thing that you need to know is when the ice cream first comes out of the machine, before it goes, as it's going into the cartons, before it actually gets frozen.
Yeah, like the big
Fully.
tubs you're talking about.
Yeah. So as it's coming out, it is the most delicious thing you've ever tasted.
Okay, so you're saying it's better the fresher.
Yeah.
Those ice
Yeah.
cream companies stealing the taste away
By
from us.
freezing it. I mean, who knew that by freezing ice cream you
You
were making
ruin
it
it.
worse?
Oh my God, the bastards. So there's nothing else. There's no, like what does it actually mean when the music plays? Do you have ice cream or not?
Let's not.
You don't want to
children
spoil that.
listening. The worst thing about it was in the middle of winter, being in a little ice cream kiosk up on the moors of the Peak District in the snow, alone, freezing cold. That
Yeah.
was definitely the worst thing. Thinking, when is this day going to end? I've sold 4 ice creams today.
Yeah, because it's mid-December. Nobody likes this Rudolph-inspired ice cream that has a little red dot
Yeah.
on it.
So, but mainly good times.
So there's nothing we need to know about the ice cream industry
no
except they're
secrets.
stealing the flavors.
There's no secrets.
Well, I think that's
Just that everybody, if you've never tasted it before it's actually been frozen, you've missed out.
I'll
in
take
life.
it. You've exposed the
You've
ice cream
missed out
industry
in
there.
life.
You know they're stealing the flavor away from us, and that's not right. Call Ben, call Jerry, call whoever you
Yeah.
need to speak to. We want the real flavors. So yeah, I kind of glossed over this, but I actually wanted to hear about. It's sort of related to the nightlife thing. The first time you got drunk, and if you remember that, and maybe it wasn't at a club, maybe you were early, maybe it was at a service station.
Well, I didn't officially go out clubbing till I was 18. But obviously, growing up, we had like mum and dad used to allow us to have little like house gatherings.
And you didn't
parties.
get grounded, and your neighbour didn't threaten to deck you.
No, I think ours was probably worse than any that you've done.
What?
So this
How?
particular time, me and my brother.
Are you moaned at me?
Me and my brother had got some friends round, and I think Mum and Dad were just out. They weren't away or anything. And some of
You're all going around in the room. Toga,
Yeah.
toga, toga.
This was even pre-Animal House. And one of my brother's friends got so drunk that they chucked him out of the house, out of the kitchen door. This is at Nana's house. So out the kitchen door, which goes up then around the house, path goes around the house to the front. And they chucked him out of the kitchen door, and within minutes, he was round the front, and he walked straight through the front door, but straight through the glass.
Just walked straight through, no
Straight
questions asked,
through
just stormed in.
The glass. And as he
This was your brother, Dean?
No, this is
No,
one
this
of
is his
Dean's
friends. Sorry.
And as he laid on the floor, having smashed all the glass, I was so angry. I just went up and kicked him.
Really kick a man while he's down. Like, walk through the glass, got cuts
All I
and
could
bruises
see,
on
all
the
I could
floor.
see was how angry my parents were going to be when
He's
we got
twitching
back.
a little bit, and you give him a big old boot just to put him in his place.
Yep. And that's probably the first time I'd really had a drink.
So that was drunken you. So when you get drunk, you get aggressive.
No, I
You're
definitely
angry.
don't. I definitely don't. Only if someone walks through the plate glass door.
And did you get grounded for that?
I think he was such a lovely lad, and he came from such a nice family. I think the grovelling that everybody did.
It worked.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So you mentioned your brother there.
Yeah.
I guess, the whole thing is Ruby makes me do this because we're siblings.
Yeah.
Let's start off early when you used to hate each other and argue because every brother and sister did.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, so growing up, we argued quite a lot.
Did you have like one thing that kept coming up?
The thing I remember about him when we were smaller was I used to wet the bed, so I went through several years
You still do.
of wetting the bed. And we, in our first house, we shared a room, so I used to wet my bed and just go and get in with him, which
And then wet his bed.
It's obviously not very nice. But then as we became kind of more independent and our parents left us alone, then we could have some quite humdingers of a fight. I remember the particular time when we were both passed our test, so we were both living at home, both able to drive, and he took Mum and Dad's car
And pissed in it.
to get me back to work. And allegedly, I mean, this is like, what do you call them? Quotation fingers.
Quotation fingers.
Somebody,
air quotes.
Yeah, air quotes. Somebody ran into him in a car park. But so he came home the night before Mum and Dad were due back from their holiday with the front of the car all smashed in.
God, and blamed you.
So no, he didn't blame me.
Okay, at
But
least he didn't blame
I went
you.
absolutely ape and I was the one that
You
had all
kicked
the.
him while he was on the ground as well. They're gonna be so mad.
But I was always the one that he used to call me the Ayatollah, which I don't know if you'd know who that was.
I have no idea what that is. What is that quickly? It's just like a.
It's a dictator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I used to have the house all tidy and everything ready for
Wow.
coming
So
back.
you've really not changed.
So, and so we were trying everything we could to get this car fixed for like the next day in our fantasy world that this is what could happen. So then when they actually came back from the holiday and they walked in the house and said, hi, and I just burst into tears. They took it that somebody had died. So when they saw the car, they realised it wasn't as big a deal as they actually thought. I made a big
You were the one who
drama
made the
over
big
it.
fuss. Yeah.
We get on so well now. We do Wordle every morning and send it to each other.
What the answer?
No, the
I don't do
quiz.
Wordle,
We
so I don't
share
really.
we share what our results. I don't see him as much as I should, but when we see each other, we do get on really well.
Maybe me and Ruby will get there one day
I
where
think you
we
do
share
really
Wordle.
well.
I know. I say this to Ruby. I say, other siblings aren't friends.
Yeah.
Other siblings aren't close. And
Yeah.
like, I mean, one of the main reasons she wanted to do this, I guess, is to have a friend. She's very lonely.
Why am I laughing? Sorry, Ruby, that's
just
terrible.
laughing at her. It's funny because it's true. Anyway, we've been going on for a long time, so I'm going to jump onto questions from the listeners. Who's the best act/show you've ever seen? And you can't say your own daughter.
That was my happy place, though, watching Ruby perform. The most memorable, beautiful, amazing, never to be seen again, probably, was an evening with Alicia Keys by candlelight in the Royal Albert Hall. singing the songs of a Diary of Alicia Keys. That was the most memorable performance to me.
Yeah, sounds right up your street
It
specifically.
definitely is
So,
my street.
favorite thing about both your kids?
So my favourite thing about Ruby at the minute is a stupid little
At the
trivial
minute.
thing. No, at the minute, I love the way she'll say something and she goes, and I walked into the kitchen and it smelled terrible, so I thought I'd light a few candles. Light.
Yeah. She
So-
repeats herself a lot now.
So I love that little bit about her.
Lovely.
Yeah.
She always says that shit.
My favourite thing about you has always been your empathy to
Damn.
see the bigger picture and to understand other people.
But sometimes that doesn't work in my favor because sometimes people
No.
are like, just be on my side. Just take my side. I'm moaning to you. All I want you to do is say, this sucks.
Yeah.
Don't be like, oh yeah, but I also hate when people are like, well, I see both sides. I'm above all this.
No, I'm at both sides.
But
yeah.
I don't
So-
know. I do think it's important to look at the other side sometimes.
Yeah, it is. But Ruby's ability to work hard and a drive, I am impressed with.
Favorite food? What's your favorite food?
Ooh, it's probably sushi.
Sushi. That's a pretty good one. What's your favorite memory of you and Andrew?
Ooh, gosh. Oh, we've had so many. Favorite memory, me and Dad. Okay, so when we were first together, before we had children, we went to
Back in the good old days before kids.
we went to Italy on holiday. The weather this particular day was horrendous.
Damn.
So we walked along this pier. Everything in Sorrento in that area is quite high up.
Yeah.
So we went out onto this like pier, and there were only us sat at the end of it under shelter, and we were drinking coffee and Baileys just in the rain and just being together. And that was one of my favourite memories.
Nice. That's very wholesome. In the rain, having coffee. Number one tip for being the best boss lady.
Treat everybody equally.
It's probably going to go against you.
No.
Treat everybody equally,
With
but don't be
respect.
afraid to be cutthroat.
No,
Treat
just
people with respect, but know when you got to cut some throats.
treat everybody with respect, whoever they are, whatever the job they do, whatever job they do.
Sometimes you got to kick a man when he's on the ground.
No, you just have to be honest. So if
Especially if he's
you've got
just ran through glass. Sorry, I keep interrupting
yeah,
you.
be warned, everybody. That's how hard I get.
What's something that you did when you were younger, but your children don't know about?
I think I've told you the story of sleeping in a tube in a kid's playground one night because I got nowhere to stay. We all decided to go to the seaside, so managed to get there on a coach and had nowhere to stay.
You and a group of people.
A group of girls, so went out for the night, still had nowhere to stay. Went into a kid's playground and there was like a big tube, a concrete tube tunnel thing, so we decided we were going to sleep in there. Luckily, one of the girls met a boy and took one for the team, and we stayed in his caravan.
Took one for the team. I'm sure she took it. Well, I know. So you slept in a playground caravan, random thing.
Yeah.
Well, it was a caravan. It wasn't a playground. Why were you in a slide?
Because we started in the playground and then
Okay, you planned
she
to sleep in a
hooked
slide.
up with someone, so we managed to get a floor at least for the night.
I know you've done a weed before. You've done a big weed once before. I know that.
Once. It was a friend of mine that been working and training in London and came up with his friend, and we had a smoke. But no, all I did
You had
was
smoke.
all it did was make my head very heavy and made me fall
Your-
asleep.
Your head was heavy, knees
Heavy.
weak, arms were heavy.
Head was-
Vomit on your sweater already.
No,
Mom's spaghetti.
is that part of a rap?
Yeah, well, the heavy thing was actually
Is
wrong.
that
'cause
Eminem?
It's palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on my sweater already. Mom's spaghetti.
Ah, I
It's nervous, but on the
recognise-
surface.
Yeah, I recognise the rap, but no, my head was heavy.
No, you've never done a weed since.
Never done it again.
What a pussy.
I know, never
Such
done.
boring. So
No,
boring.
it's not that. Drugs weren't really a thing when I missed out
Get
on the.
fucked. You're
No.
saying you went out around the 80s and drugs wasn't a thing?
No, I'll be honest
Honey,
with you.
drugs have been probably the only consistent thing in this, like in the past 50 years.
Kind of not me and my friends. The only time I ever was aware of weed was when it was like
When Cheech
soul
and Chong
nights,
came out.
R&B nights, soul nights. You could smell it in the air. Then I kind of missed out on the acid
Let's do it. Maybe that's next week's podcast. Me and my family took
Dropping
acid.
a tab.
Surprised you even know to say that.
So no, and it's never really interested me. I've always been high on life, so never needed it.
Is this the final question? This is the last question. It's a little bit of a longer one. Sending a question for Karen. Your sense of style has always been fantastic, whether that's how you dress yourself or Ruby or my others, myself included. Who would you say is your fashion inspirations, and is there any fashion trends you hope make a comeback?
Ooh, thank you, whoever sent that message in. That's just made my day.
So, who are your inspirations? Let's start with there.
Style inspirations. I do think as you age, you have to go more classic rather than following.
Well, I find it goes two ways. You either, when you get older, and I mean, I'm 20 and I've already gone into my comfort phase. I think that's one side. You're like, I'm dressing purely for comfort now. And then there's the other, like, classic, let's like shirt, tie, more formal sort of things.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're saying you're falling more to that classic side.
I think as you get older, classic and quality you need to look for. So, and the thing that's back in fashion now that I really am appreciating are wide leg trousers.
Yeah, baggy trousers, flares, things like that.
Wide leg trousers is such a vibe, as they say at the minute. Look smart, comfortable. Yeah, that's my go-to. But who inspires me?
Who inspires you?
I've not got anybody in particular that inspires me, and I think it has been difficult being a plus size woman, but I do think you have to always make that extra effort as a plus size woman
To look better.
Yeah,
Do you
definitely.
find, and I'm sure the answer is yes, do you struggle to find things in your
Not
size?
now.
Not anymore, but back.
Not now, but I'm probably glad that I'm not a size that I can walk into any shop and buy anything.
Too many
because-
options.
Yeah, and I would have no money at all.
Okay, yeah.
Because I do love fashion. It's the standing joke between me and Dad, because he'll see a larger lady walking past and he'll always say, "Have you got that top?" And if I see a man in a check shirt, I say, "Have you got that shirt?"
Yeah, well, any check shirt.
So you tend to have your go-to trends.
Do you want a trend to come back? It doesn't even have to be for you necessarily, but maybe something you just enjoyed.
When leggings first came in fashion, which I think was the early 90s or something, I thought there's not a cat in hell's chance anyone would ever wear those.
But that brings to my point of like comfort.
Yeah.
And that's where leggings, I think, have become popular.
Like yoga pants.
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Yeah, and me, I mean, because I go to the gym, that's what I wear.
I don't think they've ever gone away, honestly.
No, I hope navy
think they've
blue
just
never goes
adapted.
out of fashion.
Navy, but you do love navy blue.
I do love navy blue.
I'm in navy right now.
Yeah, I do love a nice smart navy, but it did go for a while.
I think that's it. We've boosted your ego
Yeah,
enough.
very much so.
I'm just going to say, is there anything you want to quickly talk about? Is there anything you want to say? Do you want to mention Mrs. Green's?
Mrs. Green's, everybody get on Mrs. Green's.
What is Mrs. Green's? Mrs. Green's Eco Store? What do you sell there?
Mrs. Green's is a company that me and my friend Vicky set up. That we, I mean, it's this financial crisis has not been the best for any small businesses. We've tried to help people replace any of the plastic that they use in their life. We have products that can replace your cling
Environmental
film.
things.
Yeah. Reducing plastic, really. And in a nice way, because they are attractive things for your house and kitchen.
Yeah, the whole thing is you're trying to make it like aesthetically pleasing, I guess, not
Yes.
just your basic alternatives, I
Yeah,
guess.
but also, trying to get rid of the use of single-use plastic.
Yeah, go check out Mrs. Green's, guys.
Yeah.
We got her all the way on the podcast, so do her a favor, look at it.
Sponsored by Mrs. Green's Eco
Exactly. Get a jar, get some, what are they called, like soap pumps.
Store. So, glass pumps for your soap.
Get everything, enjoy, have at it. What you got coming up real quick?
Coming up, I'm going out for a lovely lunch today. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, lucky you.
Yeah, supposedly going to see Spitting Image the musical this weekend.
Sounds pretty funky. Let me know if
And-
it's any good.
So what you got coming up?
Not much. Editing this, weddings, boring stuff. You know, my life is boring. I don't know why they make me talk about it on a podcast.
Really?
Well,
You need to,
Get good, get fun.
you need to just think about what I've got nothing to talk about this week. I must find something interesting to do.
I did a sensory deprivation tank a few
Oh,
weeks
yeah, you
ago.
did.
That was something. I was like, this will be interesting, maybe. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. Go watch Animal House, everybody. Have some fun times. And you want to wrap up the show because you want to prove that you're better than Ruby. Because Ruby really struggled when she did it, so you're going to prove.
The pressure.
Just take your time. Don't worry. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, so check us out on YouTube, Pain and Simple Podcast, Instagram at Pain and Simple Podcast, or for Sunny at Sunny_Pain.
Forget Ruby, what's yours?
Or for Ruby at...
No, forget Ruby, what's you?
At Ruby May Payne, or at Karen Payne 64. That's me. Mine's really boring. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple. Leave us a review. Tell us what you think. Please be kind. Send any dilemmas, recommendations and questions to painandsimplepodcast@gmail.com.
That was pretty good.
Thank you.
That was pretty good. I mean, yeah, like I say, you took your time, you didn't rush it, and you got through first try.
Yay.
Which is pretty impressive. Ruby will kill me if I don't ask you this, so any advice?
Yes. Always live for today.
Thank you very much, folks. This has been Pain and Simple with Karen Payne. I hope you've enjoyed it. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
How was that? Did you enjoy it?
Oh, I think I'm boring.
Oh, I think I am too. Don't worry. We all think we're boring.